4 presents Any Which Way But Zeus.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
And welcome to the Pantheon.
The Pantheon of half-forgotten characters. It's a surprise because you didn't remember them.
Yeah, call forwards, call backs.
Calls all around.
Yeah, it is a call episode. This is a little bit better than I think my memory had of it. It was really enjoyable.
There were moments in this that I moved to, that I just in my head moved to episodes that I enjoy more, you know? But yeah, like I whenever this comes up, I see it like, what the fuck episode is that? And it's like, oh, it's that one. Okay. It's basically inconsequential, but there are good bits to it. Yeah.
The one that's that for me is the one where they go inside Doc's brain.
Oh yeah.
As Eros and Thanatos and stuff. that one is 100% slips off my head every single time.
Is that assisted suicide? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I never remember what happens. I think that has a B plot. I couldn't tell you what it was if you put a gun to my head.
And we do this show. Yeah.
Yeah. This one, though, good A plot and B plot, I think. This is a Doc Hammer joint. Originally aired on September 26, 2010.
Yeah. And there's a god about somebody calling himself Goof. Goofy is not involved here. Somebody calling himself
the god about gadabout.
Somebody calling himself Zeus has been going around kidnapping some scientists, henchmen, support staff, butlers and such, and it's up to the OSI and the guild and 21 to figure out what's going on and solve the problem.
Yeah. And then our B plot, Rusty was not kidnapped during this. It ends up making sense why he was not kidnapped once you find out what the actual target of the kidnappers were. But he's very upset about that. So the boys and Sergeant Hatred fake kidnap him in a thing that in the commentary, they're constantly like, we have to bring this back. And then they do. And it's a fun later episode.
Oh yeah. Talk to me, Teddy.
Yeah. I love Teddy.
Or Ted.
Yeah. This is, so good A plot and good B plot. This is kind of a fun who's who. Calling back to a lot of characters. So we're getting some additional background on the Captain Sunshine kind of lineage.
The consortium.
And then, yep. And then Henchman 1, Scott Hall, who snuck into the Venture Museum with 21 and 24 way back when.
Yeah. Yeah. The one who... Brocked. Yeah, the presumed Brocked. Yeah, an honorable way to go. The one who he was throwing out all the death flags. Said his real name, said that he had people to go home to, etc. Was way too professional. Always going to get murked, right? But yes. He's about, and he is bitter.
Yes. This does not move the macro plot.
Nope.
Forward at all. This is just one of those, and I have a lot of affection for those episodes. That are just kind of like hanging out.
Yeah. Not many production details here. The commentary is mostly Jackson, who is still in a bad place. It does not seem like the season break helped him that much, even though it improved the quality of the episodes. Like, we get good stuff. It's mostly Jackson marveling at how much Doc managed to fit into the script while talking about how hard it was to write this season.
It is really dense. And it's specifically that there are a bunch of like very long kind of like listy joke sequences in this, some of which I would argue should have been cut.
And the side effects.
There's a joke later.
Yeah, I don't.
What is it?
The side effects.
Oh yeah, side effects I didn't think was very good, and then them making fun of the guy from the Peril Partnership.
Oh yeah,
the Ken doll real doll thing makes no sense.
It
so
doesn't?
Much so that Jackson Public has it explained to him in the commentary,
and it's still kind of confusing. Yeah.
He's one of the two guys who makes the show, and he didn't get it. Like, how did this make it into the episode? Because when I'm watching it, I don't get it.
Yeah. And it doesn't connect to anything, so it doesn't matter that I don't get it. Yeah.
And I call somebody a Ken doll, it means something very specific.
It does.
They have a smooth genital front, like from a Devo video or from Silent Night 5. Yeah. but it doesn't mean what Doc thinks it means.
No.
We don't learn very much about the background of this, as we mentioned. We do learn, however, this did not get a title until the last minute. They talk a little bit about their titling process, where Jackson hates boring names and Doc hates pun names. Doc originally just called this kidnapped or stolen.
Stolen, yeah.
Yeah, which would be not a good name.
Nope.
And then they ended up making it a pun name, which you get the sense that they just kind of did that through convenience.
Yeah. Just, but we can do that. We can just come up with a parody name. It's fine. It's the easiest thing in the world. Parodying those those movies where Clint Eastwood had an ape friend.
Yeah, Clyde.
Oh yeah, Clyde. That does connect back, doesn't it?
Yeah. They did train an ape with a Clyde thing before, so you can tell that they both watched that movie.
Yes,
the Clint Eastwood ape movie, which I've never seen.
I mean, it's not good. It's real boring. You would think that a chimp would be more entertaining.
Well, that's what you get for not hailing to the chimp. Like, I need like a monkey to provide a lot of chaos.
And my favorite, apes a poppin'.
Yeah, apes a poppin'.
I love apes a poppin' so much.
The other thing, in terms of production detail, is that there are these golfers, and that one of which is based on Mike Lazo, the head of Adult Swim, who everybody at Adult Swim loves. Who they're constantly, apparently everyone is trying to get him to come do a voice, and he never does it. And the way they got him to do it was saying his character could be golfing.
Yep.
Because he likes golfing. He's like, if my character is golfing, I'm happy.
Yeah. Well,
it's real weird.
Oh, it's fine. That character will be happy because he's me and he's golfing, and I'm happy when I'm golfing.
That one's me.
It sounds a little bit kind of childish, actually.
Yeah. That's me yelling. Like it's very, very cute.
Oh man. Yeah. And I also like the detail that everybody who makes a show has a Mike Lazo impression, because it's William Street's in Georgia. He's had a Georgia accent, which is always fun to do. Yeah. Disclaimer on this one: this episode jumps around a lot, so I did a little bit of shuffling, so we're not saying and then going back and forth. Just kind of consolidated some of the plot lines a little bit.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's do. We have a cold open where Billy gets got.
Zeus appears to him, says, "Billy Quizboy, you must come with me." I love Billy calling for Pete. Zeus is coming for him, and Pete automatically thinks he's talking about his shit, which is a funny running joke in this. Billy's constantly, he's like, "That keep telling you, fella. That's why I got to eat more fiber."
It's a very baroque shit joke, dude.
Yeah. It's just you get the sense that it's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf.
Oh,
like Billy's calling in Pete enough times where Pete just assumes that's what it's about.
Right. Yeah. And Pete, once he sees this glowing person calling himself Zeus, he immediately supplicates. He starts bowing to Zeus before Billy reminds him that the gods aren't real. It's like, no, this is a kidnapping, you idiot.
Yeah. And we get this little, so they're talking about who's in charge. They do this joke twice, which is kind of a bummer. But they get kidnapped along, they take Pete White as well. And we're getting this little montage.
Yeah.
Real weird. We just get a scientist and his assistant rather than a character we know. Before we get Sphinx, we get Hunter and Brock leaving. They're like, "Hey, surely if we're going to go." He's like, "You guys are going to go to that depressing strip club. Let me check. Oh, I'm still kind of gay." I love when they leave. He's like, "Bring Purell."
Yeah. This is really good. Strip club, not a wholesome place. Although I love that Hunter tells him not to impugn that wholesome place.
Yeah, it is a really foul looking strip club. As somebody who's been to 2 strip clubs, one that was like high rent and good, and one that was Night Moves in Bloomington, Indiana, which had real Nightingales energy to it.
God, Night Moves is such a man. That is a real that name is a vibe. No.
I wish I still had my free entry card souvenir that they gave us, because we got there too early because we came in the afternoon on tour, and the guy was just apologizing to us profusely, saying he's going to get some real good girls in there. Just to wait. Strip clubs are fucking gross.
Yeah. No shade on sex work, but it just the establishments are not. It's seamy. I've only been to one, and I sometimes drive past it and think about that night. It was literally the night that I turned 18, midnight 12:01. Walked in, and it was just it was depressing, even at that young age.
Yeah, and they're depressing to me. I've enjoyed having conversations with strippers.
Yep.
There. I don't ever feel like I'm enjoying the place on the wavelength that needs to be enjoyed.
Yes.
I am always like ironic or just having a conversation with somebody with an interesting job, but not giving them enough money for them to really want to hang out too much.
Yeah. It's a bad value proposition professionally. Yeah.
You can spot a Gary when he comes to the strip club. It's like you don't want that slot machine ain't gonna pay out.
No, he's gonna turn this into. He's gonna try and turn this into therapy, like not intentionally, but that's kind of what it's gonna be. So
he's gonna ask about your whether you get to choose your own music, and like what order you go out on, how many people work there, where the fire exits are. Like it's gonna be shit like that.
Yeah, it's all logistic stuff. It's just not it's not the vibe. Not here at Night Moves. Not at this wholesome establishment.
No, wholesome establishment.
Yeah, but Zeus
appears to shore leave.
Yeah. And takes him. I love the little goof about that Shirley makes, like, oh, I think it's a fairy godmother thing, thinks it's still Cinderella, but he's obviously just giving him some shit. He pulls out a gun, but then Zeus gets him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See him being the sidekick.
Yeah.
Which isn't making sense. We get a very short title sequence and then this magazine and newspaper montage of covers talking about abductions of scientists and engineers.
Yep.
And ends with Apple Mummy.
Love Apple Mummy.
I love Apple Mummy. I would eat Apple Mummy.
And any monster cereal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love apple flavored cereals.
Oh, Apple Jacks, love those things.
Yeah, they're good. And they do taste like apples. It's a weird advertising campaign because they taste like artificial apple flavor. It's so defensive.
Yeah.
But hey, they don't taste like apples. I know, but we like it. Yeah. And that's what they did for a decade. It's their branding was responding to like one internet hater who was like, they don't like it.
Who are they? Apples.
It is a chilling. The Apple Jacks advertising budget is a chilling parody of the Duckfeed network.
It's a little like looking into a mirror.
A black mirror.
Oh, but Sergeant Hatred and Hank, they're talking about, Sergeant Hatred and Rusty, they're at the breakfast table talking about how plausible it is that Rusty's in danger. Rusty insists, like, oh, I've got to be next, right?
Yeah, I'm a hot commodity.
But before they continue, they don't want Hank to know about this. They don't want him to know that his dad might be in danger. They have him cover his ears. I love how they test it. It's a bunch of just like, oh, Hank, blah blah blah. And Rusty says Hank has been professionally diagnosed as a crybaby. Rusty nagging Hank is never not fun.
It's real good. Dean could beat him up. He wets his bed. So Rusty is like, this is going to happen. And Hadrian's like, well, you should let me take the lead on this. I'll hide you somewhere like in a hamper or something where they can't get you. Again, this has been done before. The Rusty being jealous that he's not a target of something. But again, it goes to an interesting place.
It does.
So I don't mind the repetition so much.
And just like even before we get to the torture stuff, like him just sitting out in front with a blindfold and a sign saying Rusty Venture here is very good.
I love that. It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Hunter and Brock are flying back to Sphinx HQ. They're talking about the dancers. And this is probably one of the most like iconic conversations, like exchanges on the show. It's the more
Robin.
Yeah. What's that?
They're talking about Robin, a specific. Did you see Robin cornered me? I almost gnaw off my own arm to get away from her.
Yeah.
Because she has mournful tits. They're sad ass tits.
This is the mournful tits conversation. With 2021 years, it's kind of like, this gets away with it though, because it's still fucking funny. Like it's so inventive, and it has the real energy of two friends trying to one up each other. Yes.
It's great. I wouldn't trade this for anything.
No.
I don't care if it's negative about boobs.
Yeah, I don't. Something can be on the edge, but it can be redeemed by actually being funny. You know?
Well, and Robin's not a real person.
True.
Just if you know, if imagine a not aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Like you like this is the kind of conversation that shows up in things about like dicks sometimes as well.
Yes.
You know, like bad genitals, bad sex organs is part of culture of goofing around.
Yeah.
And that happens. Like I hung like it sucked. A girl who I knew who dated one of my good friends back, like ended up like talking tons of shit about that dude's ding dong in really detailed ways. And it sucked.
No. Yeah.
I was like, oh man.
Oh, it's my friend. I've got to like interact with them. I don't want to, you're being mean to somebody I like, but also I've got to think about what you've said every time I interact with them. Yeah.
Well, and it was at the time when I was young enough where like diving on a grenade to be like, no, his dick is good. He's got that good dick. Would have been real weird.
Yeah.
like hell no, it's not. I don't care whether it's that big. Like he uses it great. Like it would have had social ramifications at that time. Like I'm talking, 20 years ago. To do that. So,
but putting away my sensitive baby ears, this is incredibly funny just because of how creative it is. Also because of the delivery, we have Patrick Warburton and we have Jackson doing the Hunter voice. I mean, just give them a tasteful, dignified funeral.
My favorite one is a little kid with progeria cracking all their ribs trying to catch a Nerf ball.
Just sad.
That's fucking incredible. The poetry of that.
like two suicide notes stuffed in a glitter bra.
Oh man, like 2 socks with a handful of change in them. And I love the part in the commentary where like Jackson, when he write on the page, like this is one too long, and Doc rightfully saying it needs to be one too long.
Yes. I'm happy that Doc stood up for it. Yeah.
It's very good. It's a highlight of the episode.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that Hunter and Brock have this rapport. It feels lived in. Yeah,
them being friends. They're not actually heading back towards Sphinx headquarters. Here is what we originally think. We see some guild wasp, but they're on this code white maneuver because they're all meeting together.
Yes,
and they're heading to a golf course.
Yes. How's your golf game, Samson? They're going to be addressing the Zeus problem, and we see what the Zeus problem really is, where all these people have been taken. It's out at a farm in the country, and there is a general in like a Darth Vader mask kind of outfit deal, forcing the people that he kidnapped to compete in gladiatorial combat for Zeus's amusement. Zeus sitting impassively behind him.
And it's not called out in the wiki or anything, but this is huge Marvel combat or Marvel Comics vibes.
Okay.
Like Contest of Champions.
Like where Spider-Man got the black suit kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like people are constantly kidnapping all of Earth's heroes to make them fight.
Right.
And this is Planet Hulk, which is the Thor Ragnarok is roughly based on. Like this is a big Marvel Comics thing.
Yeah.
As well. We get our second appearance of Ghost Robot, whom I love.
I love Ghost Robot
so much.
He's so reasonable here. They said people got mad that Ghost Robot died, and they're like, he's a ghost who lives in a robot. Like they just turned him off because they can just repair his body. The ghost didn't go away.
I am a ghost who is also a robot. If you hit my metal chest, nothing will happen. Trying to start a plan with 21.
Yeah.
To do this, and 21 is into it. Instead into the gladiatorial combat. He takes out Ghost Robot. The general gives him a thumbs down, and he puts his trident in Ghost Robot's head.
Yeah.
And
then the hoplites drag 21 to the stables, and he spits on them. Everybody is here, and they're real run down. Pete is looking out at the stall. Billy and Shirley are there. They're beaten and huddled, and they've heard kind of rumors about 21 that he bit out one of Tricyclops' eyeballs.
Tricyclops. I love them talking about like they have to go back out again, and Billy just being like, I didn't do anything. I just hid. One of the things I don't like in this episode, and this is such a nitpick, like it's not even. But when they're drawing people who are beat up, they try to draw split lips or bruising.
Yeah.
In a way that just looks like big watery tumors.
It does. Yeah.
I really don't like how it looks. I don't think it represents what they're trying to represent. Yeah,
Shore Leave kind of looks like he's got some mutations going on.
Yeah, and Desmond gets them as well. Really bad. The butler.
Yeah. But Pete's talking about like, oh gosh, I don't think I could, don't take me out there. I couldn't fight Billy. And Shore Leave calls him a sissy. Questions his masculinity for being afraid of going out and fighting. And this leads to kind of a back and forth where Shore Leave properly tears down Pete for responding back and saying that Shore Leave being gay makes him a sissy. No, he's a badass dude.
Yeah. He's out and proud.
Yeah.
The entire show and the writers of the show have nothing but disdain for Pete White.
Yep.
Which is proper because he hasn't done anything good.
No,
in his whole life.
Only bad things. Yeah.
So 21 is thrown into their stall along with Captain Sunshine's butler, kind of foreshadowing what's going to happen here with the plotty parts of this.
Yes.
Back at the golf course, Brock is waiting while Hunter does a punt. And Hunter's like,
different game.
It's about to get weird.
It's a putt. You said punt. Different game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, different. It's all sports ball to me. I don't. Too cool for that.
Hand egg. Now it's about to get weird. And Brock's like, hey, do you expect me to pretend that we're not surrounded by OSI agents? Turns out this golf course is over this kind of bunker kind of deal. The whole green rises up. And they're revealing this elevator. Two golfers kind of remark on how strange this is, but then Doe and card holders shoot them from behind. This is the Mike Lazo appearance.
Yeah, I think they made this set on a golf course just to get him. They're heading into a security checkpoint. Everyone is being stripped here because they have to make sure no one has any hidden weapons or what have you. And they're saying Brock's chest plate counts as armor. This is where they fire back at the guy and call him Kendall.
Yeah.
They used to work with him. The implication, this is only explained through the commentary. No one would ever get this from the episode in a million years. Is that he owned a real doll.
Yeah. Brock says something like, you can get the mannequins with the parts and all that or something. And okay, it still doesn't make any sense. You call somebody a Ken doll, you're doing the Ghostbusters thing. Yes, this man has no dick.
Yes. And the guy gets flustered and it works, but it's not a joke.
Nope.
And it doesn't. Again, I cannot stress enough how the writer of the episode had to explain it to the other guy who makes the episode in the commentary.
Yep.
And it still made it to air and got animated and everything. If I'm the odd man out in here, if you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, no, I totally got it. Immediately I understood. Let me know because maybe I'm having a stroke or something. But every single time I've been like, this feels like a weird non sequitur.
No, it feels like nothing. It feels like it is taking up space that could have been used by something a little bit more, a little bit better. Yeah.
Go over the guild folks are here as well. So Watch and Ward are running the Revenge Society, and basically through this, saying you are weapons.
Yes.
Like you maybe don't have a weapon on you, but you can be a weapon, including Stormfront, the little nerd here, and they're like you're a living weapon. Tell that to whose widow was it? Who got melted because she was made of sugar, and he caused it to rain on her.
Something like that. Like he didn't just hey, I wasn't in control of that. It's like Cotton Candy Man or something like that.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah.
But they have to undergo this power inhibition treatment.
Yeah.
To knock out their powers, and we get another joke that should have been cut, which is a side effect joke.
Yeah.
It feels like Saturday Night Live 1996 material.
It does. Yeah. Which sucks because it's tied up with an actual good joke where it's like, oh, it's not an injection. They talk about the needle. It's a big scary machine that you sit in that takes out all of your blood and replaces it. And if you die, your next of kin gets a jug of blood and a very nice card.
It's a jug of blood and a really nice card. Like in the Watch and Ward voice. It's very funny.
That is like that is very cool and good. The pan over to the torture machine. And it's undercut by the listing off of constipation, diarrhea, oily discharge. It's like
those were jokes that were being done on not even SNL, Mad TV. Like the first Olestra needle discharge joke I saw was on Mad fucking TV. We're that low, so should have been cut.
Yes. Yeah.
So here's where we cut over to the boys in hatred looking out and Rusty sitting on the compound blindfolded, asking to be kidnapped.
He's just on a lawn chair, just waiting, resigned to his fate. And Hatred tries to explain to the boys, like, oh, he's just trying to protect you guys, saying, oh, it's almost noble in a sad narcissistic way. And again, just A+ Hank here is like, then why do I feel embarrassed?
Yeah, because it's this gives Hank an idea, and Hatred's like, I know exactly what you're talking about. So Rusty wakes up blindfolded, tied to a chair with electrodes at his nipples. They shock him awake. Hadrian and the boys are doing a fake kidnapping with, again, a repeat of a joke. This is similar to 21's Closet Full of Collectibles.
Yes, yeah.
Kind of joke. With an Optimus Prime mask and a Hulk mask that disguise their voice. This is great. This is really cute.
Because Hatred's talking, and then just he accidentally triggers one of the voice samples or whatever, and just like
robots assemble.
Yeah, it was like, and Rusty takes it seriously. Oh, don't assemble your robots, I'll talk.
It's really good.
Folds like Superman on laundry day. It's great.
Dean just walks up and calmly places a Teddy Ruxpin and says, "I love you. We play a game." It occurs to me that we probably have to explain what Teddy Ruxpin is.
Possibly.
Been in print for 25 years.
Yeah. Teddy Ruxpin was kind of it was a toy, an animatronic teddy bear that was about the size of a teddy bear that you put tapes in. It was special tapes. Where one track was somebody reading a story and the other track was the instructions that moved the mouth and the eyes. So the idea was that you had this little teddy bear who would read you a story. They're very uncanny and creepy if you look up videos of them. I had one of these. Did you have one of them?
I didn't, but my friend who got really into circuit bending and breaking toys had one as an adult. So I've seen one more recently, but I was a little too old by the time Teddy Ruxpin came around.
The thing about Teddy Ruxpin is the mechanism that moves the eyes and the mouth is very loud. So you've got the soothing. Oh, and then she went down the road. Like you've got that pleasant voice mixed in with.
The other thing with Teddy Ruxpin is that it's filled with machinery, so it makes it the least cuddly teddy bear that's ever been. It's about as cuddly as like a VCR wrapped in a coat.
Yep.
It'd be like, because the commercials would always show kids like laying in bed with it and stuff, like a teddy bear, and it would be really uncomfortable.
No, you would roll over on that thing and then like dislocate a shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it was a way to sell like a subscription-based toy.
Yeah.
Like you would buy booster tapes for it. It was real weird. It was like a media platform. Like this story only came out on Teddy Ruxpin. It didn't come out on Laserdisc.
Yeah. I can't even remember like what story I had. I just remember having that thing around, and it was like a little robot. And when you're a kid, it's really impressive that this thing moves. But like, being an adult and understanding how things work, you see the artifice, and then you realize, that was always kind of unsettling, and now I understand why.
Yeah. Real good little cutaway to this. We cut over to the OSI meeting table. There's a lot of the production detail about how it's clear and everyone has to, be in their underwear so they can't hold weapons and such. The guild people are talking down to the Revenge Society there. And then Tiger Shark shows up representing the Peril Partnership, which has been mentioned before, but this is the first member of the Peril Partnership, which has a weirdly prominent place in the late seasons, in season 6 and 7.
Yeah. We're going to learn a little bit more about what's happening up Canada way. Peril Partnership had somebody... Go ahead.
I was going to say he calls out Brock because Brock thinks he fought him even though they're in Canada, but it's because Brock fucked his wife. Tiger Shark.
Oh gosh, it's really good. Tiger Shark like dives at him, just sound like how fucking dare you. All of this is interrupted when General Traster comes back, and I just every time Toby Huss shows up in something, I'm like Lucille Bluth when she sees Gene Parmesan, like yay! Like
he's the best in this. All of this stuff is so good and it's so dense. The you all have nicknames, whereas I do not, because I am special. He's given them all really dehumanizing nicknames.
It's all sitcom stuff. He calls Dragoon and Red Mantle Keenan and Kel.
Agent Keenan and Kel. Brock is Agent Topanga Lawrence. Or Agent Orville Redenbacher. Like really, really good.
Yeah.
But the idea is he's assembling all of these minds. You know, they've all lost somebody to Zeus to figure out who Zeus is.
Yes.
You know, why he was floating, you know, what's at work here, who it could actually be.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're going around saying like, oh, it might have been a jetpack. And they've got like all of the, you know, readouts like, oh, it couldn't have been a jetpack. There wasn't any residue of, you know, burnt fuel, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. There's, you know, some back and forth because, well, who was it that didn't do the reading? It was Phantom Limb.
Yeah, it's Phantom Limb. And then Professor Impossible says it might be an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. Brock says it might be a villain with flight mutation. I love Red Mantle and Dragoon. Red Mantle's like, I'm just throwing this out here. Could it be Zeus? All crazy mad because no one's worshiping him anymore. You know, really great. They don't do it. He's like, we have to think of. Tracer says, you know, you need to actually break up into groups to think of solutions.
Mm-hmm.
What a nightmare! Being broken into breakout sessions.
No.
Good God.
You're just trying to fill time. I want my entry feedback.
What an undignified thing for an adult to do to another adult.
Oh, awful.
Like
awful.
that is a moral execution.
Mm-hmm.
To like send somebody into a breakout sesh.
Yeah, no, no jury would convict you. You would walk on that.
When I worked in an office, every once in a while, some of my coworkers would come back from an event and they would talk about breakout sessions and they'd be smiling, but they'd have fucking Stepford eyes. Like, just like talking about how like, oh, yeah, it was really helpful to do the breakout sessions. And I'd be like, come on.
You just want to look at them, like get right up and say, I know you're in there. I know you're in there. You need to get out.
Where's the real you?
Run.
The Tracer says, you know, you have until I finish this juice box. And warning, I am thirsty. And it is fruit punch, and it is delicious.
I love how he says thirsty. God,
thirsty.
The production details in the they don't talk about it in the commentary, which I wish they would because I want to hear more stories about people working with Toby Huss. But in the art book, they say like, oh, he did 40 takes of everything, and it was fucking wild watching him work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm looking forward to when we do the deleted scenes because apparently those are included.
Yep.
In there, which I'm really looking forward to.
God, Toby House is just a fucking treasure.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna break out and do their worksheets in a group sesh. We cut back to the barn, and Shore Leave is tending to Desmond's wounds. Shore Leave, a plus stand-up guy, right? This is a wounded older man. We got to take care of him. And Desmond kind of reveals some, info here. He says, "Oh, Zero has lost his mind," but nobody really follows up on that. Instead, Shore Leave calls 21 Ghost Dog because he's sitting there meditating, all quiet. And 21 says, "Oh, I've been conferring with a friend." Right? I think I've got a plan. And he introduces himself as Henchman 1.
Yes. Obviously 24. The general announces a fight between the hero Billy Quizboy, who is under the villain, or P. White, who's under the hero Billy Quizboy. And they both take exception to this.
Yeah.
I'm the idea man. You don't do anything, etc. They drop all their weapons and start arguing with each other. And we get again, the room that the think tank is in is a reference to Dr. Strangelove. We get a kind of no fighting in the war room style thing here where we stop your fighting and fight. fight, damn you, stop fighting and fight. With them bickering.
It is nice and good. Back to the torture, this bunker that they have Rusty in. Dean, who we're going to learn is just not into this at all, right? He just left Rusty alone with the talking bear. And he's responding to every one of the voice clips. He says like 4 or 5 things. He's responding like it's a negotiation. He says, "I love sliding down rainbows. Easy meth, crack, PCP."
I can get it for you. He goes, "Let's cuddle." He's like, "Untie me and I'll do things to you that your girlfriend would never do." They're interrupted when Hatred and Hank come back.
Yes. And Hank is swinging a big knotted rope around. And Hatred wants to talk him out of doing this. Hank wants to give him a Casino Royale. The scene where James Bond, they put him in a chair that has the seat cut out. And Lashif, played by Mads Mikkelsen, just wails on James Bond's balls with a big knotted rope.
That is why the internet is so horny for Mads Mikkelsen.
I mean, that was one of his first big roles. It's a good role. Like Casino Royale's like it is unlike James Bond movies in that it's good.
I've never seen it. I was scared off by the James Bondness because I think James Bond movies suck.
Yeah, they're I don't generally care for them. But no, it's actually it's actually good. It's the one of those that I think stands up, and it is very funny that Hank wants to do this to his dad.
Just wail on his dad's balls. Hatred says, "Oh, Dean left him here," and Rusty's like, "Oh, you have Dean, go ahead and kill me. Just let Dean go."
Yeah.
And then Hank is like, "We also have Hank," which is very funny in the monster voice. And Rusty's like, "That's okay. You can just kill him. You've got to start killing one of them." And Hank starts swinging the rope and presses the button where it says "Monster Smash."
Just a terrible, callous thing to hear your dad say, "Oh, go ahead and kill. Just kill him. Kill my son." So this is going to be explained. He doesn't mean it, which is nice. I'm happy that it is not explicitly that emotionally cruel.
Yes.
Yeah. Hatred still has his mask on when he goes to the Dean in his room, and Dean is just reading a book about cathode ray tubes.
Yeah. And he's basically saying like, you should be out here doing boy stuff. You're doing this girl stuff. Dean doesn't care about it. This is foreshadowing, him trying to get away from the life. Not foreshadowing, like it is another piece of evidence.
Just developing that.
Hank's out there wailing on your dad's nuggets. Why aren't you doing that? Nuggets is real good. I've been thinking about nuggets a lot as a euphemism for balls.
And it is nuggets and pud. Both of those are real good.
Nuggets and pud. Love to eat my nuggets and pud. Berries and cream.
Yep.
The
TikTok.
Who can get on Cameo?
Get that guy. Oh, you can get that guy?
You get the berries and cream elf.
That must be like a weird renaissance for him. It's that there are all these people who just get swept up in weird TikTok fads, and then they're like, are just articles where like, and we asked John Darnielle how he felt about no children becoming a new thing. Is like, nobody cares what a 51-year-old man thinks about TikTok, which is the only right thing to say in that situation.
I don't watch TikToks unless they're presented to me on a golden platter by someone I know.
Yep.
But Facebook has a thing where they just stream them at you.
Yep. No, I've been falling down that one too. Yeah.
Based on that, as far as I can tell, TikTok is a place where boyfriends surprise girlfriends into spilling food.
Yeah.
By scaring them. There's a lot of the dude doing something scary and the woman just spilling like a dozen eggs onto the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the TikTok.
There's a lot of people like smugly saying, and today's riddle is, and then putting that. There are useless life hack kind of things. Like, did you know you can keep a sandwich in a CD spindle container kind of thing, like that that kind of bullshit. And then like little like carpentry things. And I think that plus the cat videos means that this is weirdly tailored to me. So I am now realizing I'm probably revealing too much about my psychographic that Facebook has on me. So
yeah, I refuse to get into hip hop.
To get into TikTok?
That's what I meant. Yeah, I refuse. Hip talk.
Hip talk.
It is a form of social media too far for me.
Yep.
So if Instagram can't get me, this can't get me. So.
Oh gosh, it's just funny that Facebook adds a feature and it is just a place for people to repost TikToks
from another platform.
Yeah. Fuck that company. Yeah. So, cut back over to the summit. Tracer confirms the power set. Flight, crippling light emissions, and super strength. He knew the answer all along. He was hoping that they would put it together so they could come up with, something unexpected. And he puts up a picture of Captain Sunshine, Desmond, and Wonder Boy 2. The power set matches Captain Sunshine.
Yes. Yeah. They have Captain Sunshine detained, but he passed all the lie detectors. And they're like, he doesn't have a motive. And Red Mantle Dragoon contest that. They're like, no, he writes the guild each week about the rights of butlers, henchmen, and the retired. He would totally steal our best men to get the message across. I used to arch him back in the 60s.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you used to, like, how old must he be?
Did you arch a baby?
Not him. Yeah, not the big one. The little one.
Yeah.
You know, and this is where we learn that about the lineage of Captain Sunshine.
Yeah. So Desmond, the butler, used to be the Captain Sunshine, and the current Captain Sunshine used to be his Wonder Boy. And then when the older one aged out, it was like a Batman Beyond kind of thing. He became the Alfred, and then the sidekick stepped up and became the new Captain Sunshine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this cracks it basically.
Yes.
You know, you're holding the wrong Captain Sunshine. We go back to Hank and Rusty, who's tied up, and he says, tell me why you love Dean more than Hank. And Rusty says, you know, I don't love Dean more than Hank.
Yeah.
You know, and you've just been hitting the bottom of my chair with a rope for an hour. It doesn't matter.
I love that so much. He didn't cut out the bottom of the chair.
Like this has happened to me so many times. Like, I knew you weren't going to kill anybody, but if you're going to torture anyone, make it Hank. You know, you got to take it easy on Dean. Dean believes in this crap.
Yeah.
You know, he should have been Rusty Venture, boy adventurer. Hank just had this life thrown at him and he fights it just like I did. And it's like very tender.
Yeah. And, you know, just like we realize that a lot of what we see with Rusty's callous treatment of Hank is like, it is his self-loathing transferring, right?
Yes.
Like he is hard on Hank because he feels like he sees a part of himself, you know? Dean believes this crap. You know, Hank got this life thrown at him. Yeah, it's real tender, you know, and it's kind of setting up this big kind of switcheroo, you know, which makes it extra tragic that Dean is being, you know, like forced into this life that he doesn't want. You know, there's this half misunderstanding and this desire for a future that is contrary to what people actually want, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very sweet. You know, he says he sees so much of himself in the boy. Like, I want to apologize to him for his existence. He can't win. He's a venture. You know, it's very sad.
Yeah.
So Shore Leave, you know, goes out there. He's like, oh, those Centurions got me. 21 says they're hoplites because they're from Greece.
Right.
And Desmond says that henchman number 1 is what's best in all henchmen, a hero with a number.
Yes.
You know, they go back and forth. 21 isn't henchman 1. 21 says he is henchman 1. This stuff also feels like it doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
The general announces a double match. And this is where he gets under his skin. 21 says, you know, no, I'm henchman 1. And the general gets very frustrated.
Yeah, you can't be called that. And he orders all of them to be killed. You know, matches off. This is an execution now.
Yeah, it's Shore Leave, 21, Billy and Pete.
Yes.
Billy and Pete turn and run for the barn, dropping their swords, and they do this little choreographed action.
Yes.
Bit.
Yeah.
Here.
21 picks up his trident and he throws it into the stands. He throws it up at Zeus. It hits him and knocks him over. You know, Zeus, who has never said anything, that's just a statue.
Yeah. Or it's a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
It falls over a wooden cutout like a display. You know, while this is happening, Pete and Billy free everyone who's captured in the barn.
Yeah.
All of the henchmen. Zero explains he convinced Desmond all he wanted to do is throw a party for the underappreciated underlings who think they're heroes. Desmond flies out, you know, demanding Zero fight him, and Zero just punches him in the face.
Yeah, knocks him out. You know, and 21 runs through his reasoning, right? Like, okay, here's how I figured out who you actually were. You know, I asked who has a number for a name, you know, and I figured, I have a number for a name. And like, I recognize that voice. You're henchman 1, you're Scott Hall. And then he takes off the mask and he has rebranded himself as henchman 0, the avenging henchman.
Yeah. You know, you know this go, yeah, I do. He wants revenge for 21 leaving him to die.
Yes.
And he's like, and too bad your plan failed. You're going to throw an old Captain Sunshine at me? So that wasn't the plan. And we get all of the captives coming out attacking, including Trucules, who makes cool truck noises as he rolls out on his feet, which I really like. Yep. I think Billy's riding him. Or Pete is riding him. It's real good.
Oh, man. It is any time we get Trucules.
I love Trucules.
Yep, and then we rush to the standard Doc Hammer end. Episode's over. Bye, everybody. because the summit didn't get anywhere. You know, the think tank, they went through all this effort and they're just pumping a dry well. The older ones are asleep and they're just throwing out bad ideas. And then Doe and Cardholder walk in and say, oh, our problem solved itself. And they all go topside to see the assembled captives gathered like an old Coke commercial, except with more singing. Yeah.
And this is also referencing an old Coke commercial about teaching the world to sing, where a bunch of people on a hill with a rainbow sang about Coke.
Yeah.
And we get to see their everyone reuniting. They included Augustus St. Cloud here.
They did.
They reference it in the commentary. They're like, including somebody we're planning to bring back. And they're like, don't say that. Don't say who. Because we don't want to give it away. But this is the reoccurrence of Augustus St. Cloud, even though we don't get his albino.
Yeah, we do not get PY.
Yeah. PY is still coming.
Yeah.
And the golfers look on in confusion and then get shot.
Yes. And I love this. I love this post credits because they just accidentally left Rusty down there with Ted, you know, and in the art book, they say, oh, this actually makes perfect sense because of course Rusty could have a conversation with somebody who, you know, only says the same 4 things over and over again. He's all take and no give. Right. Yeah. So, you know, he would just unload his guts. You know, all that he needs is somebody to say, tell me more. And he would just completely dominate it. So like he's talking about like, oh, you know, I try dating around, but women just play games with you and they move in and they start changing stuff and all of that. Oh, gosh, this is the sad, selfish life of Rusty Avenger.
Yeah. And that's basically the end. Yeah. They left him there. He's still talking. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. We're kind of in this, like the stretch of like above average, like pretty good episodes in season 4 that make it my favorite, like disconnected from lore, like good laughs episodes that explore other corners of the mythos. And that's what I love about this. And this is one of them. To me, you know, again, solidly in the middle, like the last episode, basically.
I think they could have done a little bit more to explain Zero's motivation. You know, I feel like they just kind of glossed it over. It's kind of like, okay, he had some kind of point to make about henchmen and second in commands, but also it was specifically about getting revenge on 21. That was a little bit confused to me, I think. I feel like they could have taken some of that time that was spent on side effect jokes and go a little bit more into that, make it just a little bit more motivated. But like there are enough good jokes here that I'm fine with it being undermotivated. So
yeah, it's a little undermotivated. It also trucks in some stuff that we've already seen.
Yeah,
it's doing a little bit of character advancement stuff that doesn't take real hard. Like this is not a turning point for Rusty and Hank's relationship, right?
Yeah.
In which it kind of should be. Like Hank now understands what his dad really thinks about him. They're still going to snipe at each other and have the same relationship.
Of course, yeah.
You know? Yeah. So the good, but not great.
Yeah. But it is middling in a season where the middle is still real high.
Yes, that is basically how I feel about it. Yeah. Next episode, we're getting into a pair of episodes that are really good, really well thought of. So look forward to that. Until then, you can support us at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. And you can leave us ratings, reviews on Apple Podcast or Podcast Addict.
Yeah. And if you have any friends who like Venture Brothers, tell them about the show. Word of mouth is our best friend. Yeah, I think that's all the big stuff. Save the date, December 17th, 18th, and 19th. We're going to be doing a video game streaming event, 3 days to raise money for the Transactive Gender Project. If this is the first show that you've listened to from Duckfeed, hi, welcome. We've done this event every winter for several years now, and it's always a good time. That's over at twitch.tv/Duckfeed.tv, and we will have more details a little bit closer to the event.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's basically it.
I think so. Yeah. And until next time, go Team Venture.